Hey guys, what's up? Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope your day is going well so far. If this happens to be your first time here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. My name is Dana, and today I'm going to be showing you this fall look here using all drugstore makeup products. I had fun just kind of digging through my collection, pulling out some old favorites or just products that I haven't got to use in a while. I will say though, I was sad because the first original drugstore products that I pulled out for my eyes, I realized were products that were discontinued. For instance, this Wet n Wild Ghost Busters? No, what are you called? Polar Ghosters. This is one of the liquid catsuit eyeshadows from Wet n Wild. Fortunately, it's discontinued, but if you do have this in your collection, this would be the perfect product to use on your lids whenever I get to that part. This is actually the color that kind of inspired today's whole look. I was just craving something like that looked like crisp, crunchy autumn leaves. I love this time of the year when it's actually cold out. It's still like in the 90s here. It's so humid. So I've been lighting fall candles and wearing cozy jammies and baking pumpkin muffins just to kind of trick myself into thinking that it's nice and cold out. But then I go outside and I have like boob sweat, and then I remember that it's still really hot here. So if you live in a place where you have like actual seasons, do not take it for granted. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's look. I hope you guys enjoy. So I was digging through my eyeshadow palette drugstore section, and I knew I wanted to go in with something just really warm, toasty, rich, and orange. I know I always gravitate towards those colors, but I definitely feel like that's the color family ideal for fall. It just kind of reminds you of like crunchy, crisp autumn leaves, which everything here is still green in Houston. It's so boring. So these were the palettes that I pulled out. I know I've used all of these in videos in the past, but it's been a while. I know I haven't touched the CoverGirl Full Spectrum and So Saturated palettes in a while. One of my all-time favorite palettes from the drugstore is the Suns Blazing palette. This is from Flower Beauty. Then we also have this one from Profusion. These are, I believe, $9 at Walmart. Sometimes you can find them at Target too. This is the Mirage palette. I've gone through so many of these Profusion palettes in the past. I've decluttered a ton, but Mirage is without a doubt one of my all-time favorites. I pulled this one specifically for this kind of copper orange glitter shade here down at the bottom, but who knows, maybe we'll be using it for other parts too. But I do want to start off by priming my eyes. So for that, I grabbed one of the JCat Beauty All About That Base eyeshadow primer. These come in several different colors. There's a white, I do think there's a black. I know there's a shimmery champagne too, but this one is just called Nude. And as you can see, it does have more of a matte finish, but this will do a good job just kind of muting out any discoloration on my lids. Also, if you are curious, on my nails, these are just the nail strips from Dashing Diva. I talk about these all the time over on Instagram stories. I love these so much. You can find them anywhere from like $6.50 to $8. Now, before you ask, I was always skeptical of these nail strips too because I always had such terrible luck with the ones from Color Street, Revlon, Sally Hansen. I mentioned this over on stories, and one of y'all actually told me that Color Street makes the nail strip for all those other brands. That's why I didn't like those either. But I guess these are made separately. They actually say made in South Korea on the back. But let me tell y'all, these last for such a long time, even after washing dishes. I typically don't wear dish gloves, which I should because my hands are super dry as is, but I have great luck with these. These last anywhere from like 10 days to 2 weeks. Normally by like the 12 to 14 day mark, I have new growth to where I just want to peel them off and put on a new set. But for the price, you really can't beat them. There's so many different varieties to choose from. I just freaking love them. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and start off with the CoverGirl True Naked. I think this is Sunsets. Yeah, Sunsets palette. And first I'm just gonna take that matte shade here on the end and just use that to set this primer just all over, whoops, my brow bone. I tried out new eye patches today. Oh, did you see that? It like peeled off. And at first I thought they were really good because they felt really nice and thick and goopy, but I realized that the serum it left behind was almost too thick to where even whenever I went in and applied my sunscreen and my primer, it was just causing a ton of pilling. It was gross. And then to start off with my crease, I'm gonna go right into this rich kind of burnt sienna shade. While these mattes are really, really pigmented, they do kick up a lot of powder. I don't have any issues with fallout, but in the pan, like the second you dip your brush, there really is a ton of kick up, but I don't mind because the actual formula blends out great, and it's one that actually lasts on the eye. Sometimes whenever you get these powdery drugstore shadows, they can be pigmented, but they just slowly fade throughout the day. I don't have any issues with these CoverGirl ones. They stay on my eyes all day long. I decided after going in with the CoverGirl one, I do still want to add a little bit more of a true orange. So now going into the Flower Beauty palette, this is such an amazing matte orange, and the brush that comes in this palette is actually really good, especially if you have hooded eyes, just because it is a smaller crease brush. So I am just going to concentrate this lower down on my crease and on my actual lid, just to use this as a base for the next product that we'll be using. If you want to keep this a matte look, you could obviously just go in with your brush, start blending, and leave it here. But I just want to go in with a little bit of glitter. Originally, I thought I was going to go in with this copper shade from the Profusion Mirage palette that I shared earlier, but I totally forgot about this next product. This is one of the Flower Beauty Glitter Warrior shadows. I talked about this recently, I think in the NARS foundation video. I had used the Army Green one, which I love. Unfortunately, that one dried out. This one here is called Flame. This was the exact color I was looking for. The reason I went in with the matte orange on my lid is because I don't want to go in with just one opaque swipe. This product is super pigmented, but I'm kind of just looking more for little flecks of shimmer on my lid. So that's why I wanted some sort of base. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take my finger and lightly tap some of the product, tap off the excess onto the back of my hand, and then just do a light little wash right over that orange shadow. Something about this shade, whenever I wear it as that full wash of color, it tends to flake off. I didn't have any issues of that with the green shade, but something about all the other colors, they just didn't wear quite as well on my lids. For foundation, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Oil-Free Medium Coverage, oh no, just kidding, that's not the name. It's the Flawless Satin Foundation. I have mine in the shade 300 Sand. Okay, and I'm just gonna use a brush to apply this today. I know I did an entire review of this foundation. I haven't used it in a while though. I've been so hooked on my Ilia foundation and then the new NARS Soft Matte Foundation, which I just recently did a video on that as well. As much as I love dewy skin, sometimes in the fall, I just like more of a natural finish. Next up, we have concealer. So I decided to go in with two different shades. First up, we have one from Revolution. This is their Conceal and Hydrate Radiance Concealer. It has hyaluronic acid. I thought I would just do a tiny little dot of this right here just to help brighten up the darkness that I have going on. This shade kind of works like my Becca under eye corrector. And then on top of it, I'm going to be using my Pacifica Natural Minerals Liquid Cover Full Coverage Lasting Concealer. This one is in 14 NM. And for this, we're just gonna go ahead and go on the outer portions. This is a concealer that I gravitate towards quite often. Okay, so now just coming inwards and taking that and just blending it right on top of the Revolution concealer. That way I don't have like a super harsh pink spot right there. All right, now for my under eyes, I think I'm gonna go in with a mixture of both of these Luxe Pro powders from, oh wait, just kidding. One is Ben Nye and one's JCat Beauty. I was confused. I'm actually going to mix both of these though. I have Cameo and Ben Nye, and then I have Porcelain and JCat Beauty. JCat Beauty though makes one pretty much identical to the Ben Nye one. They're both, whoa, way too much. Both really soft and silky powders. So I'm just gonna take any little powder puff, I'm gonna dip that right in and just blot off any excess, and then just tap that right onto my under eyes. I really like these powders because they're both so soft and fine, and it's not the sort of powder that like sucks up every bit of moisture on your under eyes. Plus, I just go in with such a thin layer. Since it is so soft, you're really able to spread it out. It almost feels like the way that a rice powder does, just really, really soft and silky. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that right there, and then just dab a little bit right here on my smile lines. It's really all that I'm going to be doing for powder. Moving on to bronzer, I do want to go in with the cream bronzer today, so for that I'm going to be using the Physicians Formula one. I have mine in the shade Toffee, so just doing some right here along my hairline, and then just along my cheeks. I'm just going to use that same foundation brush because he is going to be getting a bath tonight. My e.l.f. one is still wet from getting washed yesterday, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would use that one. I was super late on trying the Physicians Formula bronzing stick. I'm just so attached to the Huda Beauty Tantour bronzing or contouring cream. I just feel like it's such a good product that I just didn't feel the need to get this Physicians Formula one, but I have to say this one is really, really nice. The only thing is it only comes in 2 shades, whereas the Huda Beauty one, you have several shade options to pick from. I think it was either 5 or 6 shades. I do still want to go in just with a little bit of powder bronzer just to add some more warmth. So for that, I'm gonna go in with the Wet n Wild Wet Shady Beaches. This is a very, very warm tone powder. On days where I'm being really lazy with makeup, I like to just go in and to do a light little sweep of this across my cheeks, the bridge of my nose, and then through the crease of my hidden eye socket. Honestly, since I kind of went heavier with that on my cheeks, I don't want to go in with any blush, but I do need a highlighter. I find these to be very overlooked and underrated. They are so incredibly creamy. To me, the texture reminds me a lot of the Becca pressed highlight powders like Champagne Pop, Opal, things like that. They are so, so soft and silky. To be honest, I'm not crazy about the blushes in any of these trios, but the highlighters are so, so impressive. This is the Full Spectrum in Blush Touch, and then taking my Morphe M500 brush, you really only need a tiny bit of this because I'm telling you, it is pigmented. It performs like a high-end highlighter. So I just like to go in with really, really light layers and build up that way. Otherwise, you will end up with like a lightning streak across your face. The forehead a little bit, chin, and Cupid's bow. All right, now for the lower lash line, I do want to go in and just kind of smudge it out with that same orange. So just taking this matte orange again, and then let's go ahead and deepen it up slightly with this shade here on the same brush from the Flower Beauty palette. Lightly just go right across the lower lash line. If you do happen to have Laura Mercier Caviar Stick in Sienna, that would be the perfect cream shadow stick to go in and just smudge all over. Plus, that would guarantee that it would just stay on your eyes all day. I love those caviar sticks so much. So just going in with that Flower Beauty Flame again. This is the Sigma E15 flat definer. I just went ahead and pressed a tiny bit of that glitter just right onto my lower lash line just to add a little bit extra something something. Now for my lips, I'm going in with the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink. This one is in the shade 70 Amazonian. This is such a beautiful, just great nude neutral type of shade. Where's my mirror go? I'm not going to go in with any sort of lip liner. If you want a long wearing lip color, this is a formula that's mask proof as well. Once it dries down, this sucker stays in place all day long. It's the type of product that you need to go in with a like cleansing balm or cleansing oil to get off. But isn't that such a pretty color? I feel like this goes perfectly with the eyes. Here's my final fall makeup look using all drugstore products. I would love to hear what you guys think of it down below. If you have some of these products in your collection already, maybe you can recreate it. If you do, I would love to see a photo of it. Let me know what your favorite rusty copper orange shadow is from the drugstore. Maybe there's something I'm overlooking that I just need to have in my life. As always, thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. If you guys have some more time on your hands, maybe you could check out one of these videos right here, or if you have any video recommendations, you could always leave those down below. But for now, that's all I have, so I will see you guys next time. Bye.